Hi everybody, welcome back to Everyday Thrifty Living.
Hi everybody!
I'm cassoadiethriftyliving.
I took my vitamins today.
If you're new to the channel, please stick around, hit that subscribe button, click the bell so you notified every time I upload a video. Thank you so much for clicking in, tuning in, checking out, joining us. Hope everything's doing well. And today we're doing another installment of our movie faves and fails, or entertainment. It's been a little while since we've done that video, and we've seen a lot of stuff, so don't be surprised if you see it in part 3 in a week or so.
We will not give you any spoilers.
No.
Well, she might not.
So let's get right down to it. We're going to be discussing 7 things today. 7. There are a lot more than 7, but 7 is what we're going to discuss. And most of these actually came from Peacock. So prior to this, we actually subscribed to Peacock because we were looking for, my aunt was coming over and we were looking for a horror movie and I couldn't find anything, so we decided to do it for 1 month and we still have it. And yeah, so
she won't let me cancel.
There's some good stuff coming out. There's some good stuff coming out on Peacock. Anyway, so the first thing that we're going to discuss is a little movie called M3GAN. This movie is supposed to be like an AI type thing, you know, Chucky meets AI, artificial intelligence, although they did a Chucky remake of that same type
If anybody
thing.
saw the trailer is kind of scary.
This trailer
That's why we wanted to see it.
Yeah, so we watched this movie for my aunt. I did not like this movie at all. Odie was like, meh. My aunt was like, oh my god, I love it! So, pretty much it's about...
She likes Snow White.
Anyway. Oh, yeah, that's Snow White.
With the
wolves.
With the wolf. Why didn't she marry the wolf?
Oh, yeah, she did like that movie. Anyway, so basically M3GAN is about an AI doll. It was created by a woman because her niece, the parents died, and she was trying to shove the kid off to something else, pretty much. I mean, that's basically the
She worked like 24 hours a day, so she had nothing to do. So, hey, let me create a psychotic doll so that she could stay with my niece, and they could be besties.
Yeah, it wasn't that good of a movie. It's basically a ripoff of Chucky.
One of the main directives that they give the doll is that she has to be protective of the child.
Yes, she has to be protective, and that...
Major flaw. I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, no one saw that one coming. Yeah. Blood. Oh, and we saw the unrated version of the movie, and
stupid.
I gotta be honest, I was looking for a little more blood and guts and gore. I'm gonna watch an unrated version of a horror movie.
We watched the whole movie, and I think the last half hour, we're not spoiling it, but the last half hour was when it became blood and guts.
Yeah, that was.
Now, you see, I like a good Chucky. Chucky gets right to it right from the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
This movie was definitely a ripoff.
Chucky likes the ankles. Chucky likes the ankles.
Oh, this movie was definitely a ripoff of Chucky. That's how I felt the entire movie, because if you watch the remake of Chucky, it's almost the same type of... I was going to say genre, almost same type of plot, same type of screenplay, everything. So, that one was, I consider it to be a floppy McFlopper. I hear they're doing a sequel, and we'll probably watch the sequel when it comes out. I mean, who knows? You never know.
That's up for discussion.
The next one, now, I know we saw this before everything happened with the Titanic, with the submersible. We watched this, it was a documentary.
Horrible thing.
Yes.
Horrible.
Now, this one is
Should have been avoided. But let's move on.
Let's move on. So it's called Titanic Conspiracy of Failure. This was on Discovery Plus through their Science Original channel on Discovery Plus. And this documentary was about an hour and 17, and it pretty much discussed every single thing that happened on the Titanic as to why it, cracked and, it, went down with the iceberg and everything. They mentioned the fire. They mentioned how the rivets weren't properly done. The extreme temperatures, even though it was April, it's the Atlantic Ocean in April, and that is still, not sub-zero, but you're at, 0 pretty much. And
technically, what they were trying to say is that
the
iceberg itself, scraping against the hull on there, would not have brought the ship down. Because it had 7 compartments that if one... started to leak, it would shut down, so it moved into the... It would... so that didn't happen.
Were so many flaws in the design. There were a lot of compartmental flaws. The compartments that Odie was mentioning, they were not filled all the way up, so you created more issues there. And the thought was that, looking back now, if they had just rammed through the iceberg, they would have been fine. Probably been fine. Because the hull, that pointy, the point would have been able to withstand probably the damage. So in hindsight, they should have gone through it, but we are talking about experienced captains, men of the sea,
And
they would have.
Go ahead, sorry.
Making the turn would have been the normal response to it.
Even though a lot of people believe this, is this one thing that's true. The band was not playing Danger Zone when it went down.
Family Guy. So we watched it, and it was pretty much destined to go down, pretty much. This ship was destined. It was destined to go down no matter what. It just feels like every single thing that could have gone wrong that night went wrong on that night.
Karma was going after a lot of people that day. I'm telling you, because that it's like one thing should have protected the next thing, should have protected the next thing, and one thing failed after
everything failed. And with response to the lifeboats, while yes, there were not enough lifeboats, it's because of the way they did the ship routes. There were other ships within like less than 50 miles. So theoretically speaking, if anything were to happen,
because the designer and the owner believed too many lifeboats makes the boat ugly.
Yeah, that too. There is also a vanity.
This was supposed to be the ship of dreams.
The ship
beautiful,
of dreams.
Aesthetic.
Yes.
Unbelievable. And if you got 10,000 lifeboats dangling from the side, it doesn't look nice.
Yeah. So they also, because there are other boats within like 50 miles. The theory is that they can come and get us.
Well, there was one really close by. And
but because of the whole SOS thingy, the thingamababa. Yeah. Remember? So that was an interesting documentary. If you have Discovery Plus, you could check it out. It's really interesting. It's a really good documentary.
Yeah, that one was good. I like that one.
The next one. Now, this one is another thing we saw off of Peacock, and it's because it's like a train wreck. You can't help but look. It's called Epstein's Shadow, Ghislaine Maxwell. It is about Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's right-hand woman. Well, she's reported to be the right-hand woman.
If I never see another Ghislaine Maxwell documentary, I'll be happy.
She can't take it anymore. Pretty much this documentary goes about her entire life, and they try and explain how in the world these two met. They do make the allegation that they met through her father. They do discuss her father.
She's a sicko, that woman.
Yes, through and through. She's right where she belongs.
Oh, hell yeah. No.
But it's just that
she belongs someplace else, let me tell you.
It's just that there's so many things about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and that whole stuff, and it was a good documentary. It was good. This one was better than the one we saw another one like a year back or something.
Don't waste your time, in my opinion.
And that one was more like sympathetic to her. No, this one that we saw on Peacock, this one was like get her, in my opinion.
Spoiled daddy's girl. That's
she was like a certain ex-president's like daughter type thing, daddy.
Because she did it for a lot of money. She was just basically almost a high prostitute.
Yeah. It really goes into like her life, her father, everything, and they do make the allegation that they met through the father, which officially they met after the father died. But if you're interested in like Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, definitely check this documentary out.
She went everywhere where money was at. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, and Odie, when we were watching the entire thing, she was like, why is she wearing those earrings? She kept wearing these pearl earrings.
Probably the only thing left is she had money.
Yeah, that's true too, because once father died, that father died under mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, she threw him off the boat.
Okay, so we watched that. That was my insistence on watching. The next thing we saw was yet another thing on Peacock, and this was Knock at the Cabin. This was M. Night Shyamalan's latest movie.
This movie was bad.
Now, as you can tell from the groan, the movie was bad. It was bad. Now,
don't walk.
Basically, it's about a family, two gay men.
And I like that guy.
Dave Bautista.
The wrestler.
Yeah, Dave Bautista.
I like him in Uber.
Stuber.
Yeah.
Love
Now, you guys see Stuber.
Stuber is hilarious. That one is really good. Poor guy, man. All he wanted was just 5 stars.
Veering off the actual thing.
Anyway, so the movie pretty much starts. It has 2 men and their daughter. They go to the cabin in the woods to go on a vacation, and then 4 people. The lead is Dave Bautista, and I know Rupert, the guy from Harry Potter.
Don't spoil it for them. It's
4 people break into the cabin, and they are forced to make life-altering decisions because the end of the world, the apocalypse, is coming.
And you don't know to believe who's crazier.
Yeah.
But then it starts taking a turn and you're like, wow.
And it's M. Night Shyamalan, so there's a twist there. And I kind of figured out the twist within the first 20 minutes somehow. I can't believe I actually did it. I figured out the twist.
Well, I would have figured it out, but I was asleep.
A long story short, to make this rant short, the movie was not that good. We did not enjoy it. It was It was good. I can't even say it was good. It wasn't that good. It sucked.
Look, let me tell you something. All his movies except for the Bruce Willis one.
Oh, and the James McAvoy one, the first one, the Split.
The Split.
That one was good, but the Knock on the Cabin, no. So the next movie we saw Violent Nights. Now this was on Peacock also.
Oh, I love.
Now it's on Amazon Prime. It's no longer on Peacock. Now it's on Amazon Prime. So if you're an Amazon Prime member and you haven't seen the movie yet, definitely check it out.
If you guys want to see a great Santa movie, you gotta see
this. All takes place on Christmas Eve, and it is about a violent Santa. This Santa is going after everybody.
But he's an anti-hero.
He's an anti-hero. It's played by David Harbour, I believe his name is. He's the sheriff from Stranger Things. And then you have him. You have John Leguizamo, who's he's always good. John Leguizamo.
I love John Leguizamo.
You always
very a good actor that people have overlooked.
Oh yeah. I'm under I believe firmly you give any actor that one right role, they can get an Oscar.
That white role?
That one right role, they can get an Oscar. Every actor has that ability. I always believe you always get that.
Yeah, the problem is that Tom Hanks is the only one getting all the roles.
Well, of course, because Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks. Anyway, and then
I can't see John Leguizamo in Castaway.
And then you have Beverly D'Angelo. She was in the movie as well, and
she was good.
She's had a lot of work done. I will say that. Side note, she's had a lot of work done. Anyway, so
she was the it. How? She was the it in Beach.
What?
It.
She was the what? Beach. I never saw Beach.
No, if you take the beach and put the it in the middle.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. She was the bad girl. She was the bad person. Not bad person. John was on. Anyway, my God. Ramble aside. Pretty much, this is about Christmas Eve, and
but if you got young kids, do not watch.
Oh no kids, no young kids.
This is an adult movie.
This is an adult movie. Pretty much Christmas Eve. There's a hostage going on. John Leguizamo is taking the whole family hostage.
Being shot.
He's taking the whole family hostage for money, and Santa Claus shows up, and Santa Claus is David Harbour, and he unleashes some violence, So that's pretty much it. We loved it. I will probably see this again for Christmas. This has to be another Christmas movie for me because it was just really good. They do evoke a lot of Home Alone in this movie, I will say.
Yeah.
That was a good part. So let's get right to it. After seeing a really good movie, which was Violent Night, I insisted on watching this next movie, and I am sorry. I'm under
Which one?
I said it could not be that bad. It can't be that. Fast 9.
Oh!
Now, if you don't know what Fast 9 is, it is part of the Fast.
Get on an airplane and run.
It is part of the Fast and the Furious franchise. This is the 9th movie in the entire franchise. God. Now, I will say this before watching this, I do firmly believe that the franchise should have ended when Paul Walker died at 7. Or if you wanted to finish it out, finish it at 8.
This last movie was like an insult to him.
This movie was literally.
They bring the gang back to do something, and who shows up? His wife instead of him, because he has to stay home with the kids.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I'm still. So the movie is 2.5 hours long, and I kid you not, it really is like 2.5 hours long, and John Cena is in the movie, and
John Cena's everywhere.
I don't know why. I don't like John Cena. I don't know what it is. Either it's the role he's playing or something like that. I don't like the guy. And in this movie, I really didn't like him. He was the bad guy.
You know what it is when you look at John Cena, all you see is, okay, this is a wrestler. You don't see an actor.
No.
The Rock has transformed himself into somewhat of an actor. So you don't see him as a wrestler as much.
So pretty much Fast 9 is what you expect. If you've seen the Fast and the Furious movies, you know what it's about. Some sort of heist, some sort of thing. Stunts that are not conceivably real.
Wait a minute, I'm Vin Diesel's acting coach. Duh.
Yeah, that as well. So if you really want to see something really funny, check out CinemaSins Fast 9. He loses it about 6 minutes into the video. He loses it. There is one scene. This does not ruin the movie for anybody. There's one scene where they have to go through. It's not even a bridge. It's one of those things.
Is that the stunts are even from the part 1 they were unbelievable, but this one takes a new level.
This was bad. So Fast 9 was bad, and I was like, this was bad. This was bad. There's one scene with the bridge and everything where Vin Diesel, he hits like a pole, and somehow it wraps around the tire, and he swings around a mountain or something. That's where the CinemaSins lost it. I think it was that scene. I think he gave it 1 trillion sins for one of the scenes.
Well, at least he did it then. I lost it right a few minutes into the movie. Please.
Yeah. So we watched that, and I had to apologize profusely. I had to apologize profusely for that. It was my fault.
A long time before I see another Vin Diesel movie, that's for sure.
Well, when Fast 10 comes out on Peacock, we're going to be watching it.
No, I don't think so.
It has Jason Momoa. That doesn't make it better.
Even Jason Momoa's lost it since Aquaman for me. I used to love Jason Momoa, but now he's become so commercialized. It's like this.
So the last thing on our list for today.
Doesn't even look like the actual Aquaman that's in the comics. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, Mom, please stop it.
No, it's true.
Aquaman sucked.
It doesn't matter. I just didn't feel the Aquaman from him. Sorry, she's still regurgitating murder burgers.
You have White Castle.
As anybody in the Northeast would know, that's White Castle.
Never
we
again.
had some for lunch and they're just laying there.
Anyway, so the last thing on our list for today is another Peacock documentary.
Did we see anything other than Peacocks?
It was a 3-episode. It was called "Who Killed Jenni Rivera?" Now, Jenni Rivera was this Mexican superstar. She was poised for like international superstardom type thing. I had no idea who she was until she died. My aunt knew who she was.
Very large presence.
She was a big woman. I will say. Yeah. So
nothing wrong with that. Everybody in my family has it.
So it was basically.
It just looks different when you're on TV.
She did have anyway, so
it's a tight clothes she wore.
She did
tight clothes.
So it was 3 episodes, and it was all about they delved into her life and into her career and into her alleged connections to cartel, and because she did have connections apparently to several I think was it the Sinaloa or the other one, and she had a connection to cartels pretty much because the only way to survive in Mexico in the music world was to basically be with the cartels.
In Mexico, yeah.
Yeah, so
she's a very sweet person.
So she delved into that world, and we saw that, and they talked about the plane crash and everything, and I was like, several things can be true. One is, yeah, she could have had death threats on her, but on the other hand, she was on a plane that, now I remember, because it's been a little while, her plane for some reason shook. The mechanics could not fix it, and they still flew the plane anyway. So her pilot, one was in his mid-70s and one was like 20 years old. And the reason why I remember the shaking so much, is because years ago, this is actually a funny story. This is a sidetrack. Years ago, Odie needed a car. So she found a car off of like a dealer site.
No, I found one, but your father test drove it.
Let me finish. He went and he test drove the car and he paid the money. This car was like less than $1,000.
He test drove it in the city.
Let me finish. He test drove the car. He paid the money and he brought the car home. Mm-hmm. Odie got in the car,
and I had to drive it to work, and I had to take like a small highway to get to my job.
Once the car reached 40 miles an hour,
I thought it was going to explode.
It shook like a 9.0 earthquake.
It would go.
It would actually.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this car's going to explode.
And my dad's like, it never shook on me. And she's like, because you didn't drive it. You drove it on the street. You drove it around the block probably. So yeah, her car shook.
Yeah.
At over 40 miles.
I still held on to the car. It lasted for a while.
It did last for a while.
I just couldn't go past 40, that's all.
It was like a 1980-something car. It was still drivable.
Well, I'm not rich. What do you want?
Anyway, so that plane shook. So the plane probably blew up midair because it was not in very good condition. It was, so they tried to make it a whole big like mystery conspiracy type thing.
This plane crash was that first of all there were very little, and I don't want to be gross, little kids, and the little kids shouldn't be even watching this, but anyway. The remains that were found were very inconsistent with a small plane crash.
Yeah.
When you have a small plane crash,
that was something that bothered her.
There's more left behind because there's not as much fuel.
Yeah, her big thing. That's why my theory was that the plane may have run out of fuel.
And a hole in the ground.
Mother.
No. You've seen plane.
Yeah, so she had a big issue with that. She also had an issue because the clothes that were strewn about.
Yes, there was one luggage that survived without one burn mark, with all her clothes, and all her clothes were strewn all about without one burn mark.
That's why my theory was that the plane ran out of fuel because maybe there's something wrong with the gauge or something.
No. What happened is when they realized who it was, it's probably the responders, the rescuers.
That's true.
They probably rummaged to see if they could find jewelry. Because I don't mean to badmouth Mexico, but the police and the cartel and the stuff over there, they don't have a good reputation.
No. Right? So that is what we saw. We saw Who Killed Jenni Rivera, and I think with that one, we pretty much determined that we didn't think it was the cartel who did it, because if the cartel wanted you dead, the cartel would want you dead. They would not, rig a plane, you know what I mean?
And kill all the other people. Well, they would do that.
They would.
They would shoot you and kill everybody all around in the middle of the street.
Yeah. So that is what we watched. We watched M3GAN, the Titanic thing, the Jeffrey Epstein, the knock at the cabin, Violent Night, Fast 9.
Just watch Violent Night.
That is on Amazon Prime.
Skip all the other ones.
But if you're in the mood for a good documentary and you have Peacock, definitely check out the Who Killed Jenni Rivera and the Epstein Shadow.
Nah, watch the Titanic one better.
That one's a good one too. So that is going to be it for us today. So stay tuned for part 3. Part 3 is going to have a lot of more stuff.
Yeah, sure. Now scare them away early.
Of course, that is going to be it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.